How's it going, everyone? Today we are going to be talking about ammo stockpiling and storage, two topics that have been discussed at length across not only here on YouTube, but every forum on the internet, it seems. So why is it a good time to come back here and beat this dead horse with an already dead horse? Well, here in the US, we are in the middle of an election cycle, and unfortunately we have another year of this stuff. On one side, you have the Democrats, where every single one of them say they want to enact some type of gun legislation. And on the other side, you have Donald Trump that claims to be pro-Second Amendment and yet has enacted more anti-gun legislation than Obama did. Go figure. Not only that, but globally speaking, it seems like we're all really stressed out. Hong Kong is rioting and protesting every single weekend or week, it seems. France and all of Europe really seems really tense as well with their immigration, Brexit. Everything over there is kind of getting a little tense there too. And the US, we have a lot of protests and riots almost every single week here for a different reason every single week. We are the outraged generation, aren't we? So it just kind of seems like a good time to start stocking up and to start talking about it again. Get other people to start stocking up again. So, before we get into it, really deep into it, I want to stress the importance of something that everyone else stresses. The numbers. Everyone stresses about the numbers. How many rounds per gun? How many rounds per caliber? How many rounds per this? How many rounds do I need in general? So I'm going to set a baseline. If you're a gun owner, if you own a firearm, you need at least 5 range sessions worth of ammo in your stockpile. Now that's different for everyone. If you only own a shotgun and a hunting rifle, then you probably don't need to stock up on as much ammo as compared to the guy that owns 5 ARs and 7 handguns. It's just going to be different. But whatever that is, stock up on it and have that stored away. The reason is because we're not just getting ready for riots where you need to protect your house or business, or the boogaloo where we need to go crazy, or SHTF. We're not preparing for all of that necessarily. We can be preparing for something as simple as a ammo shortage and a price hike on available ammo, which the two things typically happen at the same time, and we don't even need any legislation to cause that. We just need some panic buying, which elections do that. Election cycles do that. So, prices increase. So why wouldn't it be smart to buy ammo and stock up on ammo when it's still cheap, and when you can still get it for a lot cheaper than later in the election cycle? Now, that 5 range limit, or that 5 range visit limit, is not a hard limit, obviously. Get more if you can. But just as a baseline, you should always have that. That way you're able to protect yourself if you need to. You can protect your things. If SHTF does happen, you have some ammo on hand. And then also, when that ammo shortage happens and you can't find specific types of ammo for your gun, or the price is just increased astronomically, you can still go to the range and practice normally and keep up with your training and keep up with your shooting and your accuracy. So, all around, it's just best if you have bare minimum 5 range visits worth of ammo. God, I'm stumbling over my words in this video. I apologize. So, after that, what's the next level? I would consider the next level to be legitimate stockpiling. Now, legitimate stockpiling, this isn't my entire stockpile, obviously, but this is just what I have for demonstration purposes. It's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be different for every gun, because I think the way that you should do it is bare minimum. If you're going to stockpile for SHTF, the apocalypse, bare minimum you should have 1,000 rounds per caliber per gun for your main guns. Now, if you, back here in safe, in the very back, I have my 30-30 lever action. That is one of my favorite guns just because it's a 1953 Winchester, it's classic Americana, I love it, but I don't shoot it that much, so I don't have 1,000 rounds worth of ammo for it. However, my AR, I do have well over 1,000 rounds worth of ammo. So it just kind of depends on how much you shoot, what you shoot, and the availability of it in stores and at ranges. 300 Blackout, for example, is still kind of an oddball round. It doesn't and probably will never have the prominence of 5.56. However, it's still gaining some ground. So you can still find it, but you can't always find it. And when that shortage occurs, you may not be able to find 300 Blackout that easily or at all. So having a lot of it on hand makes sense. Now, I'm going to get into what I have in these cases, and it's not all factory ammo, but we'll talk about that later. So that 1,000 rounds per gun per caliber, it can be more, it can be less. Again, depending on the gun, depending on the caliber, it all just comes down to what you shoot, how much you shoot of it, so on and so forth. I have a range on my property, so I'm able to shoot whenever I want, as much as I want. So I keep more on hand for that specific reason. If I want to go out and shoot, I want to have the ability to, and I don't want anything to stop me from doing it, as long as it doesn't get completely covered with snow. So I want to have a lot of ammo on hand, not just for prepping and that stuff, but also for shooting. Now, let's talk about the storage aspect of it. Now that we have the numbers out of the way, we can breathe. Storage. Obviously, I went with the classic. I did what a lot of people do, ammo cans. They're inexpensive, they are sturdy, and they're tried and tested. They work. They've worked for decades. You might as well go with what has worked and is going to probably continue to work. Now, there's a couple different options for ammo cans that I want to discuss. Obviously, you have the milsurps, but then you have the new production metal ammo cans and the new production plastic ammo cans. I have not tried the plastic ones because the inherent problem with plastic is the brittleness. They are going to be more brittle and more susceptible to cracking and breaking than metal, obviously. So I haven't even tried it. However, the metal ones, this one, if I remember correctly, was a new production ammo can. This was one, I can't remember where I got it at a gun store when I just got into guns, I think. And it was the only new ammo can that I got because it was more expensive than a regular ammo can is, and the craftsmanship is just about on par with regular ammo cans. So I just say go with the milsurp ones. They're readily available, they're cheap, they're at gun shows, gun stores, obviously some sportsmen's places, like if you have a North 40 in your area, they'll probably have them. And if you don't have a North 40 in your area, you should move somewhere that does have a North 40 in your area. So, let's talk about storage. There's a couple different ways to store your ammo. You can do the baseline, just get the ammo cans and dump all the ammo into the ammo cans. And that works sometimes. For handgun ammo, where you know you only shoot this specific grain weight and this specific type of ammo, that's awesome, because you don't need to have all the individual labels and whatnot. Another prime example, 22. This is my 22 mix container, and we'll get to the labels in a second. This is just filled with loose 22. My guesstimation is I have around 5,000 rounds in here, but I don't know for sure. I'm sure some mathematician can correct me, but I think it's around 5,000 rounds. So, for 22, if I'm not trying to shoot a pinhole group at 50 or 100 yards, perfect. I can go plinking and I can just dig into, my ammo can here. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the ability, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't try. or not enough people try, is utilizing the geometry of the ammo can and of available factory packs of ammo in order to organize your ammo. Like, look at that. That just fits perfect, right? So, obviously, I like CCI, but this isn't all mini-mags. I know you can't see it from there. I got a crap camera, crap microphone on a crap phone. I'm sorry. I'm basic. I don't have money, except for guns. So, I have mini-mag hollow points running up the first two levels, so got 400 rounds of those. And then I have, let's see, 1, 2, they're out of order. I actually have 3 of the mini-mag hollow points, 2 of the mini-mag target, just round nose, 40 grain, 100 rounds of Velocitor, 100 rounds of Stinger, 50 rounds of CCI Quiet, and then, or I think 50, I don't know. But anyways, doesn't really matter. It fits, it works. This Federal bulk pack, the black and white box, is what I shoot the most of. I have 2 of these inside this ammo can, and once I get done with one, I just open up the next one and just rotate the stock. That is the biggest message of this video. Beyond the fact that don't get tied up with the numbers that much. Just do what you're comfortable with. The big thing with this is rotate your stock. All of this ammo gets shot. I am not taking any of this and putting it in the back of my closet and just forgetting it. Because ammo does wear out. Or it doesn't wear out, it does degrade over time. Especially if it's hand loaded. If you hand load your ammunition, I'm sorry, no matter how good you are almost never going to be as good as factory. So, you need to recognize that and just say, I'm going to rotate my stock. Would you have a pantry, like, for the people out there, like myself, that have a pantry of canned goods, things that they can themselves, whatever, that dry goods, so on and so forth. If you keep a month, 2 months, 3 months worth of food in your pantry, are you just going to throw it in there, shut the door and forget it and say, okay, I'm going to leave that there now and let all that food rot and then, just go and continue to buy new food? No. You rotate your stock. That way, you always have new food, new ingredients, whatever. I always have new or, in some cases, a couple-year-old ammo, but still fairly new ammo to shoot because I rotate my ammo. I don't just throw it in the back and then say, oh, this is for a rainy day, because when that rainy day comes, there's no guarantee that ammo works. Just saying. Now, let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Let's talk about the 300 Blackout, how I have this stuff loaded up. Now, this is what I've been shooting the most of. I've been shooting my AR more than anything else. Just trying to get super proficient with it and work with it a lot. So, this is my range box for it. Alright. So, I hand load my ammo. I load my own. I would say I honestly haven't shot a box of factory ammo besides the 38 special I just recently got. World War II, it's not a new gun, don't hate me. Beyond that, I haven't shot factory new ammo for 2 months at least, maybe 3 since I started hand loading seriously. So these are 100 rounds each. I have 4 of them inside here, and I think they're both, or each side of them is the same, so, or at least velocity and bullet weight. The other side is different, so like here I have 14 grains of 1680. I load 1680 for all my 300 Blackout. I have 14 grains of 1680 with a 180 grain pill on top. So I have 2 boxes of that, and then I have 2 boxes of 150 grain with 18.9 grain of 1680. And I always mark whether it's the second loading, first loading, just to keep that kind of in check. Now, That being said, I still keep factory ammo inside of my range box. Not just because it makes this fit better, but it does make it fit better. I keep it in here because if I am at the range and let's say I didn't load that batch of ammo properly, or I'm having issues with that batch of ammo, I probably don't want to continue shooting that ammo. But I would probably want to still shoot and not have to, not have to leave and stop shooting early. So, I keep a little factory ammo in there. Now, another thing that people get hung up on a bit is weight. And I'm going to move the next heaviest, or the heaviest, I should say, which is this ammo can. The thing with weight, I'm not too concerned with carrying my entire stockpile and having to walk with it or having to run with it, because that's not practical. So if I have at least one small box per caliber that I may have to bug out with or carry a long distance, I could use that for what I'm going to bug out with. However, for a stockpile, for actually stocking up ammo, I may not have to carry this, so I don't care how heavy it is. And it's pretty heavy in here, and I'm really happy about this because I don't organize much, but this is really well organized, and I'm really happy about it. So in here, I have, I think, 6 of these 100-round case cards. And they're all different, or a couple of them are the same, but just different loads that I know work in my AR that are good to shoot and throw them in the stockpile, basically. Now here I have 6 boxes wide by, I think, 4 deep, so 24 boxes total of the same cellular bellet 200 grain subsonic ammo. It's cheap, but it's awesome. It shoots great, so I like that. And then in the back here, I have magazines. I have 2 40-round magazines that sit perfect right here on the edge, and then inside this groove here, and then 3 30-rounders. So if I did need to bug out and I just needed to grab, a gun or two and 1 or 2 ammo cans and go, I'm throwing this inside the truck and I'm dipping. So I got more than enough rounds for whatever I need. And it just fits really well inside there. So labeling. Let's talk about labeling now that I, just looked at that label I wrote. That was hard. Labeling for your ammo cans goes one of 2 ways. You either use the duct tape method, where you slap some duct tape across the front of the ammo can, write whatever's inside it, and call it a party, or you spray paint the ammo can, and you permanently mark it. I have a serious issue with permanently marking ammo cans. And this one here, the one that I bought when I was a brand new gun owner, is the only ammo can I permanently marked. Because I don't want to tie this ammo can to only holding 12 gauge ammunition for the rest of its life. I want to be able to have this ammo can be retired at some point once the seal on the top wears out. That way I can go and use it in my shop to hold nuts and bolts, use it to still hold and organize, dry food rations, whatever the case may be. I can still use it, but I don't trust it to stay airtight and watertight for my ammo. So, why would I want to have emboldened across the side a caliber, and then if I did ever have to go and grab all my ammo and go, have to worry about, does this ammo can actually have what it says in there? And sure, you could just spray paint over it and black it out or whatever, but I don't necessarily want to do that. And I like the nostalgic look. I like the look of it. Again, just like the 30-30, it's classic Americana. An American ammo can. They're cool. So, covering all of that, let's see. I think the last thing that I really want to cover is this big guy right here. This is, I think, an 81 millimeter smoke. So, an 81 millimeter smoke grenade canister. It's a big dude. And it rattles because I have these on the side. I use this to transport my range ammo cans. Now, obviously, I can't do that for my 300 Blackout, but for my 7.62x54R, my 22, my 30-30, I believe I have one made up for 12 gauge, but I'm not totally sure. I don't remember. It's probably in my stock somewhere. I can throw these inside here, stack them up, and then clip this onto my toolbox in my truck, where I have two little eye bolts. Couldn't think of it. Clip that on, drive to the range, which is not that far from my house, obviously. So it's just a good way to not only store ammo itself or organize ammo cans. Like, let's say I get just one more of these 22 ammo cans, throw it in one of these, label it 22. I have an entire one of these just for 22, let's say. It can be another tool just to help organize things. Figured I would mention it. It's worth mentioning. So with that, you guys, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to be uploading a little bit here and there. Don't expect the videos to be very good quality. Just expect them to be somewhat informative if you like watching my content. I'm going to be talking about reloading for the 300 Blackout and some of the little just different loads I've come up with for that. I'm also going to be talking about reloading for 10mm and 10mm in general as a cartridge. Same for 300 Blackout. So with that, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And with that, thanks for watching. Think for yourself, and I will see you next time.